I want to tell you guys a story about how 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, changed my whole life, with the hopes that it will inspire you to take 2 minutes like these to yourself to change your life too. It was 2 minutes on January 1st of this year, and it completely changed my life. At this point in time, and for those of you that don't know my story, I'd been working as a corporate lawyer for about 6 years, and around 12 months ago, I decided to leave and start my own consulting business. So by the time it was January 1st of this year, I'd been doing it for about 3 to 6 months. Now, the reason I did this was because I wanted more flexibility over my time. I hated the corporate world, but I really enjoyed what I was doing. So I almost wanted to take what I liked, which was the work, and put it in a different environment, which was the way I was working. There's a second piece to this. It's also the financial aspect. I wanted financial freedom, not just freedom over my time. I wanted a way in working that didn't have this capped ceiling on it every single month through a salary. But when I got to January 1st this year, I realized I had been really limiting myself in terms of what I thought was possible, in terms of both my time flexibility and the financial freedom. And so I made a decision, and it took me 2 minutes to do. I closed my eyes and I decided I was sick of waiting for this magical opportunity. And so I decided that I was already in that moment, and I opened my eyes and walked straight into it. There was no reason for me to not think I had just then arrived in that moment, in that reality. I think so many of us wait for this magic moment, right? We wait for somebody else to confirm or do something. We wait for an opportunity to fly from the sky, to come from somewhere. But if you just take a minute, think about what you're working towards and decide that you've already arrived in that moment, it is the most powerful thing you can do. And here's why. It may not sound like much, but it really is this very subtle shift from waiting to have arrived. And there's a very key difference there in the way you show up. By deciding I was already there, I wasn't waiting for this sprinkled fairy dust to come somewhere in my near future to create this reality. By deciding I had arrived in that moment already, it created this unexplainable ripple effect in the weeks to come. And all it took for me was 2 minutes of reflection to decide, what am I working towards, and why can't I just decide that I've already arrived in that reality? Why am I waiting for something to tell me that I'm in that reality? Stuff that. If you are working towards something, whatever you're working towards right now, I want you to take 2 minutes to decide that you're no longer going to wait for that to happen, and that you are going to start showing up as though you have arrived in that moment. So with whatever you're working towards right now, I want you to look out for or think of those statements that are like, when I get X, then I'll get Y. When X happens, then Y will happen, right? It's always this but-for situation where it's a cause and effect of something external shifting or happening, something you have to wait for you to get that reality that you want so badly now. And then I want you to close your eyes. Imagine you are at the footstep of that door. Open the door, walk through it, and say to yourself that you have arrived in that reality. There is nothing you need to wait for, and you are here. Now, there's a second part to this, because this sounds a lot like when people talk about manifesting, right? I can't just sit here on my couch and think about all the money I want to make, all the financial freedom I want to have, and not do anything about it, right? I'm not really an advocate for that kind of manifesting or attraction, because the second part to this is taking aligned action. That's how you pursue and multiply this energy, right? You step into this reality like you've arrived, and then you start taking action because you have arrived. The energy that sits underneath that versus you waiting for something, because the action you take when you're in waiting confirms that you're in waiting. The action you take when you've arrived confirms that you've arrived. And you'll notice a shift in yourself. And this is where the magic happens. It will start to flow into the energy you put into everything, into the proposals and emails you're writing, into the relationships that you're fostering, to the way you talk about yourself, right? It feels like such a subtle shift, but because it made such an impact on my life, I really wanted to make a video on it. This shift from you acting like you're waiting for something to acting like you've arrived and you've already got it. It then does very quickly infiltrate and change all the ways you're doing things, just because of that foundational belief that it's sitting upon. Aside from how it practically impacted my business and the way I was showing up, I also started doing daily affirmations. I have done them every single day since January 1st. And the thing I love about affirmations and YouTube and Spotify and just creators in general is there is literally an affirmation playlist for whatever it is that you want to attract. More money, romance, or love, or career progression or friendships. Like you can literally just type in said subject affirmations and something will come up. I found one I really like that's 10 minutes long that I literally, my alarm goes off and I press play and I just listen to it and I let that soak into my subconscious. But the reason these are kind of ringing true for me, and I think multiplying what's going on, is because I made that 2-minute decision to move out of waiting and into arrival. That decision, that 2 minutes, changed everything for me. And so I want this to be your sign. You don't need to wait any longer. You just need to decide that you've already arrived and watch the difference it makes and the ripple effect it has on the way you show up and do different things in your life. Because someone who's in waiting versus someone who's arrived, they act very, very differently. And you'll notice it yourself. If you love this kind of energy, this approach, if this has really resonated with you, I had an interview a couple months ago with a wonderful, wonderful woman. Her name is Georgie Stevenson. Some of you may follow her podcast, Rise and Conquer. She's incredible. She's achieved some incredible things, both from a business and success point of view, also financially. And in the episode we talk a lot about breaking this limited version of yourself and practical things you can do to kind of level up. So that was such a popular episode. I'm going to put a link to it. Again, if you love this conversation, you're definitely going to love that interview. If you've enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. I always forget to say this, but please, if you've been watching the channel for a little while now, I think it's something like 80% of people who listen don't subscribe. Like, what are you guys waiting for? Help me help you. The more subscribers I have, the more content I can make. Make sure you're engaging with the episodes on your preferred platform. Also, if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of our future content. So I'll leave that one with you. Find 2 minutes to make the decision to change your life today, because you don't need to wait any longer. And I'll see you guys next week in the next episode. Until then, stay balanced.